I've got a golden ticket.
That's a winner!
Coming to you live from DraftKings at Casino Queen on this beautiful Thursday evening here in St. Louis. Here joined with my co-host tonight is Damian Byro. How you doing, Damian?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm fantastic. It's one of my favorite evenings of the year. I love the draft. I love draft night.
Absolutely. So do I. I look forward to the draft night and the NFL schedule release until the NFL season starts. So
Has the schedule come out yet?
no, I believe that's supposed to be next week. They used to do it right the week before the draft, but now for some reason they're doing it the week after the draft.
Well, we got a great show planned for you tonight. Clemson John given the night off so he can do whatever he's doing this evening. So we're gonna have a nice night tonight. We have two young men from the ABA, from the Vermont Bennington Martins from the ABA. They're going to join us, and we're going to talk about their experience here in St. Louis and a little bit about their young careers in the ABA. I'm very looking forward to them. They'll be joining us here in just a minute. Coming up, we're going to a little later. We're going to talk a little about the Kentucky Derby. And before we talk about the Kentucky Derby, I'm trying something new this year, Damian. Twinspires.com is a way that you can bet horse racing from your phone, your computer. And I've posted on our social media a link to sign up. If you don't have a twinspires.com account, I have posted that link on our social media at Winning Ticket 21 on Twitter and the Winning Ticket 21 on our Facebook page. Go up, very easy to sign up for an account. You make your first deposit. You make a $10 wager, and you're going to get that $10 back in free bets. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be making my own tickets for Derby Day. And what we're going to do is we're going to post the link as soon as the bets are made. You can click on that link right off our social media. And if you have an account, you can take a piece of those tickets right from your own account. So you use your own money, you buy the piece of ticket. If it happens to win, it goes directly back in your account. And over these past few years, from my friends, I've collected money, and I make the bets and then I disperse the money. This way, everything can be done from wherever you're at, and you can decide how much you can take, a little or how much you want to take of the bet. So yeah, we're going to try that out this year. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to post my bets and see if anybody wants to take a piece of my action, Damian.
Well, you have a pretty good track record in the Kentucky Derby, so I definitely when you get a free shot with that $10, I definitely maybe willing to imbibe on that and
Yeah, why
gamble
not,
on
right?
your pick there for that free $10.
Yeah, so I'm going to be putting out like a lot of 20, 40, $50 tickets, and I'm going to I haven't decided like how many percentages. You can do up to like 50 pieces. Like if it's a $50 ticket, I can put up that I want to keep $5 of it or $10 of it. I'm going to sell the other, probably 80%, and I can do it in shares. So up to 50 shares. So dollar, you can put $1. If you see a $50 ticket, you can take a $1 share of that ticket. And pretty neat. But I'm not going to be betting things that are going to pay $50. The stuff I'm going to be going after is I'm going to go after thousands of dollars. So that $1 you could potentially turn anywhere from it. You could be 10, it could be $500, but you don't have to buy one share. You can buy many shares. So let's see how it works out. We'll be doing our Kentucky Derby special next Thursday evening from live here at DraftKings at Casino Queen. We'll be covering other sports, but I'm going to spend probably a lot of the time on Derby weekend. Also, we're on 6 to 7 every Friday night, 590 The Fan. John and I will be back tomorrow together. And let's get right into it. Let's get into the ABA, guys. Can we turn them on? Can we get them get them to join us? Yeah, we're going to start with them. All right, joining us now from the ABA, in Vermont, the ABA Bennington Martins. We have John Riles. John, how you doing?
Go, how are y'all?
Yeah, we're doing great. Great. Good to have you. And I want to introduce, we also have Xavier Boyd. What's going on, Xavier?
How you doing?
All right, great. Can you guys hear us okay?
Yes, sir. Perfectly clear.
All right, guys. First off, let's start with you, Xavier. The ABA, what I have found out, it is just so exciting. I didn't really understand how fast paced and how much fun it is until a couple of weeks ago. I got to experience firsthand how exciting it is. Xavier, how did you get into the ABA? What was the process? What were the steps you had to take to get there?
So I finished college basketball. I went to college at Lehman in the Bronx, and after that, I basically got a call and an email about the ABA from my coach, and I was also on Facebook. And he just reached out, and then I was actually supposed to get a year back at my school to play basketball again at college, and like that didn't work out. So he ended up just telling me to come on, like just come out and come play, and that's how it all started.
All right, so I'm going to back up just a second. Now, the Bennington Martins have only been around. This was their second year. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. Was there any closer teams to the Bronx to where you were living, or is there any New York
Uh,
teams?
there are a few, but they didn't really reach out to me after I finished college basketball, so I didn't really know anything about them. Like this is the only team I really knew about.
All right, Xavier, was this your first year with the Martins?
Last year was my first year.
Okay. All right, guys. I want to get to John. John Riles is joining us, also a teammate of Xavier's. John, what's going on?
Good. How are y'all?
All right, real quick, a little backstory, a little bit about your process on how you got to the ABA.
Um, it's a funny but a weird story. Me and my head coach, we actually went to college together. So we started out as teammates, and then once we expanded from college, he went on to started his own business, running his own ABA team. And so since we had that connection from college, he reached out to me, asking if I wanted to play. So I told him, yeah. Things didn't work out at college, and I didn't really have any other outlets. So he reached out to me and gave me another reason to play basketball on a professional level, and took off from there.
All right, so this question is going to be for both of you. John, we'll start with you since we got you on right now. Is this a stepping stone to try to go to Europe, or what are your aspirations of? Is the ABA where you want to stay, or where would you like to end up out of this process?
Be able to end up somewhere where I, as well as getting whether it's overseas, G League, NBA, but ABA is a stepping stone. My resume and try and get so ABA for now. In the future, try and get.
All right, hang with me a second. Can we turn this up a little bit? I can barely hear these guys. I heard you just a little bit. Xavier, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Same question. Is the ABA is where you want to be, or is this using this as a stepping stone to maybe go to Europe, D League, or the NBA?
Yeah, it's pretty much a stepping stone, just like the beginning process of everything. I'm hoping to play. I'm not like picky. I'll play anywhere. So like, I get any type of. It doesn't matter to me if like whoever wants me, and I'll go. That's my attitude with it. But yeah, it's just a stepping stone.
All right, guys. Anybody not familiar with the ABA? Are you guys familiar of how anybody can find out a little bit about the Bennington Martins? And on top of that, guys, maybe one of you guys can answer. What's a Martin? Is it a last name of somebody that owns the team?
No,
I don't
so
know
it's
what a Martin is.
yeah, Tibetan is an animal only in Vermont and squirrel slash beaver. I'm not entirely sure what it is. Native from Vermont.
Okay. Have you heard of it, Damien?
I have not heard of it.
No, we're gonna have to
Matter of
look.
fact, I'm going to
He's
look it
gonna
up
look
while
it up right
we're.
now. We're looking it up because I was like, when you guys told me the team name, I'm like, maybe it's the owner's last name or something like that, which would kind of make sense, right? I mean,
It would.
that would kind of make sense. All right, guys, while we're looking this up, I know we met in person. You guys were here a few weeks ago, first time in St. Louis for the ABA Championship weekend. Man, bunch of fun. I want to start off. I know I'm gonna go to the end of it, which was kind of unfortunate. The championship game got canceled. So, can one of you guys answer? You guys tell me, how did that work out, and what were the results of that?
Yeah,
Uh,
unfortunately, the chancelled.
Are we there?
I
Are we
think
frozen?
John's a little frozen.
Okay, go ahead, Xavier.
All right. it was unfortunate because there's a tornado situation going on out there. But the environment and everything out there is super cool. Like everyone's super friendly. Like I had a great time out there. Like everyone, like I just said, everyone is super nice out there. But the experience over there, like playing and like being around different people from different areas, like I've never met any of those guys. Like my teammate's the only person that I knew, you know. So seeing how
Right.
they play, like playing against them in the All Star game, and everything was different. It was a good experience. Like I enjoyed
Yeah.
it a lot.
I unfortunately couldn't stay, but one of the things that I wanted to get to with you guys is you. I don't know why I was on the court at any time, but I was asked to play in the celebrity 3-on-3, and I was told in advance that it would be retired ABA players, people that have never played before in a organized structure. Damien, this was I was lied to, by the way. That's how. And
100%.
you guys, it was 4 teams, half court, and Xavier was on one side refereeing, and John was on the other side refereeing, and you both got to see the hot mess that was me out there, right? It was, I mean, they had active ABA players playing. These are 21 to 26-year-olds, active ABA players.
So basically, your teammates were hamstrung.
Well, right. So I will tell the story as it goes along, but these guys firsthand saw the hot mess that was me out there on both sides of the court. As soon as we get John back, I want to get his viewpoint. But Xavier, I know, I mean, hey, at least I got out there. But I'll tell the story. Xavier, how bad was it? Tell the truth.
All right, truthfully, it wasn't as bad as he's gonna say it is. It wasn't that bad. It was all right. He fit in, like like he wasn't terrible.
I sent him a cash app
After
to say
Xavier,
that.
after Xavier's basketball career, he's obviously going into politics.
I mean, are you kidding? Really? Were you watching the same thing I was doing? Really?
I think I ref you the first game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now
it was
I
your
did better
team
in the
won.
first game than the second game, right?
Your team won, didn't you? The first game.
We won. We won. And here's the thing is I was also told that it was 3-on-3 and there would be 2 subs and that I could take a lot of footage and only have to go in for just so they could get some video of me doing it a couple minutes a game. Well, I ended up playing 15 minutes between both 30-minute games. And I did have a few assists in the first game, which you might have saw, right? I
For
did.
sure, for sure.
I did actually. Does that count? Does that count if I passed the ball and they scored off my pass?
That's what Chris Paul
100%.
does.
Yeah. So it wasn't. I didn't look as horrible as I did in the second game. But is John back with us yet? At least by audio, or is he not with us? No. What? I'm gonna see if John can call in. Anyway, uh, yeah. So the second game. Well, I'm gonna wait. John, did John ref my second game, or did you ref the second game also?
I believe John did. I think he went down to the other side.
Okay. So the first game, I knew I didn't belong out there. That was with Coach Trey of the St. Louis Spirits. He told me, yeah. I'm on him. He's 6'3". He's a big guy, and he. Everybody was taking it seriously, so I knew I was in trouble right away, Damien. I knew I was in the wrong spot. It's not my age; it's that I'm out of shape, right? And I didn't have the right shoes on. I learned that it's very important to have the right shoes. Would you say so, Xavier?
100%.
Yeah, so
100%.
I'm sliding in my shoes, my regular running shoes, which I don't even run, right? So I couldn't really keep up with anybody. And when they passed me the ball, I got 2 rebounds, by the way. I don't know if you saw that, Xavier. I
I
got
did.
2. I
They were
got
big rebounds too. They were definitely big rebounds.
See? So I couldn't even believe that I did that. I did not take a shot the first game. I did not take a shot the first game. There's no way I was shooting unless I absolutely had to. But I actually think I didn't do horrible the first game. Here's the second game, and I'd like to get John back. Give me 1 second, everyone. So I'm going to have him just call in to my phone, and we'll do audio with him since his internet connection isn't doing well. Because I want to get him on the second game because I'm I'm pretty embarrassed about what happened in the second game.
Well, as long as you're willing to share your embarrassment, I'm sure there's your
Yeah,
fans
but
will
John
be
John
willing to hear it.
yeah, John saw it firsthand, and don't, Xavier, you're being way too nice. I didn't belong out there, and you know it, right?
How high did he get off the ground on those 2 rebounds? What's his vertical? About half an inch?
Xavier, can you hear us? We lose him too? We lost both of them. Xavier, can you?
I think I'm good now. Yeah, I think I'm
Okay.
back.
All right. Ask him again, Damien.
How high did he get off the floor on those 2 rebounds? About half an inch?
All right. One of them definitely half an inch, definitely. But the other one, the other one, he got up a little bit, just a little bit.
You are so polite.
Well, it was nice that you were able to use that body to box out.
Yeah. So it was. I'm trying to get John back to see if he can give us a call on the phone. We'll talk about the second game. Here he is. Let me get him on speaker. And John. Yeah. Can you hear? Okay. This isn't working. Is this plugged in? Yeah. So I'm trying to get you to can say something. Yeah, that's not coming through here. Here, let me try that. How about that? Say something again. Yeah, it's not.
Here, use this.
All right, we're gonna get you hooked up through audio here.
Why
Okay.
we don't want to do this?
All right, guys, hang with us. No technical difficulties. We'll fix it. All right, say something, John. John?
Yeah.
Okay, that's much better. Okay, now we got you by audio. Okay, so
I could see y'all. For some reason, my camera is just not working, but I could still see everybody.
Okay, well, we got you connected. Xavier was explaining, we were talking about me on the floor for the first game and how he was so gracious and telling everybody how good I played, which is not really the case, especially in the second game, which you refed, right?
Yeah, you did all right.
Oh, see, these guys are so nice.
you played your role, you played your position, so you did what you were supposed to do. You look good out there. You just had to have some more confidence, but you did all right.
I don't think it was confidence. It's like I couldn't keep up. These guys, I told this, I don't know if you heard this point. I did not expect active players in the ABA to be playing. I was told that everybody be retired and older like me. Here's what I really was, what caught me off guard is there were supposed to be 2 subs. And when I got there was only 1 sub. And one of my teammates, if you notice, let me start over. So we win the first game, and this is for our little championship, right? So we're down 19-2 with me out there. I got to start because one of the other guys is gas because he played most of the first game. He goes, hey, get out there. So I'm playing the first 5 minutes, and we got down 19-2. As soon as I get out of the game, they bring it within 2. There's 19-17, right? We had one of our young men drain in threes. So he says, as soon as they bring it within 2, he goes, I got to go to the bathroom. You're in. I don't know if you were there, John, but you remember that? He tags me, says, you're in. I got to go to the bathroom. He disappears off the court. We have no idea how long he's going to be gone. And then we get down by 16 immediately. Like within 5 minutes, we're down by 16 with me in there.
Well, clearly, your plus minus was really
It
bad.
wasn't good. It wasn't good. Now, as nice as you sound, I did take 1 shot, and it did hit the rim. It looked like it was going in. But this is all about me. I just guys wanted you, since you guys were that, wanted you to share how bad I look. You guys are being so nice. Can somebody tell the truth and tell how awful it was? Somebody tell the truth.
You were all right. You weren't that bad.
Well, clearly they were on a 34-2 run with him on the floor.
I'm having a hard time hearing y'all.
Okay, who's that?
It's John.
All right.
But you did all right, Dave. You did perfectly fine. You set some screens. You got some assists going. You did have a shot that almost went in.
Yeah.
But
See?
ultimately, it's a team sport, so I wouldn't hold it too much against you.
All right.
I'll be sure to make sure he gets a participation trophy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you guys are so gracious. I appreciate the input on that. All right, listen, guys, we got about 10 minutes left. I want to talk about the NBA playoffs. Xavier, so far you have an overview. You have a favorite team. What is your little bit of insight on what's going on right now?
So my favorite team is actually the Miami Heat, and they just took out the Bucks last night. So I'm pretty excited about that. But my overview of the playoffs is I don't know. I don't know who's gonna win the I don't know who's gonna win the championship. Honestly, like I don't. It's up for grabs. I feel.
Is that John, or is that you?
I think John's thing is like echoing a little bit.
Yeah. John, are you on speaker?
I can hear you.
Okay, we can hear you.
I can't hear X.
You can't. Oh, you can't hear it. Okay, you can't hear X. Okay. All right, hang on. I'll lead you in when it's so. So Xavier, who did you say you like? I didn't.
He doesn't know who he likes on the.
Oh, I mean,
Miami
who's
Heat.
your?
Miami
No, you're
Heat.
the
He's
Heat.
a Heat fan, but he doesn't.
Okay.
He does not.
The Heat
sure
were
who-
big dogs.
I was stunned that they losing Tyler Hero and the other kid. I'm stunned that they were able to pull off that upset. I bet
Jimmy
Milwaukee.
Jimmy Butler's a dog.
Jimmy Butler went Michael Jordan
100%.
in Game 4. I mean, that 57-point performance was just absolutely incredible because he was a one-man team in that game.
100%.
Unbelievable performance by Jimmy Butler.
Hey, John, can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can kind of hear you.
All right, little bit about your thoughts, and do you have a favorite team that's left, or is your team out?
I'm a Brooklyn Nets fan, so we got swept by the Philadelphia 76ers, but I'm a diehard Kevin Durant fan.
Yeah.
So Phoenix just advanced past the Clippers, so I'm happy about that. So I'm just waiting for Saturday to see KD go to work.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I lived in Phoenix for 16 years, and a lot of heartbreak over the last 30 years with the Suns, maybe even longer. Been to many games. Love the Suns, and hoping they can put it together this year. Last year was a big disappointment. Anybody?
No. The closest the Suns got to winning the title was that they were probably they were the toughest team for the Bulls during that championship run for Jordan. That was a very close series, that 6-game series that they had with
When was that?
Phoenix. 93. The 90 that was their
1993, guys.
yeah, that was
We're a
their-
little older.
that was the first three-peat for the Suns. Sorry, I'm old enough to remember that.
Thunder Dan Marley.
Kevin Johnson,
Kevin
Charles
Johnson,
Barkley
Charles
was on
Barkley,
that team.
yeah.
Yeah, they had that Phoenix Suns team was really good back then in that season.
I'm going to share a little story with all of you while we're talking a little Suns. I got a chance to meet and hang out and party with Charles Barkley one night. I believe I was 22 or 23 years old. A friend of mine had a fraternity brother whose father was very close with Charles Barkley and Michael Jordan, and we got to go out and party with them one night. And I was supposed to be the fourth in playing golf with Michael Jordan and Charles Barkley the next morning. But this is before cell phones, guys, right? So the next morning, I was so hungover. I get a call from my friend, and he says, "Where are you at?" I'm supposed to be playing golf with Michael Jordan and Charles Barkley, and this is what I said: "You're gonna have to find somebody else." And I hung up the phone.
No
Maybe the
way.
dumbest move in the history of man.
Who does that, right? Who does that? Who does that?
That is a lifetime of regret in one statement.
Yeah. Who does that, right?
Yeah,
But
that's insane.
I want to tell you the previous night I'm out talking to Charles, and I only had about 5 minutes of his time, one-on-one. But I'm talking with Charles, and we're talking a little basketball, and I'm asking him, just as a fan, I'm asking him questions. And this really pretty young lady starts walking up to him to start talking to him. And this was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen. We're in the middle of a conversation. He's in the middle of a sentence. He stops, he turns, and he talks to the young lady for about 30 seconds. And literally, when he's done talking to her, he turns right back to me, and like he never missed a word, like the conversation never stopped. I've never seen anybody be able to do that. It was pretty funny. So he absolutely just ignored me, turned to the pretty young lady, talked to her, and then came right back to me. It's like he didn't miss a moment talking to me. It was one of the, I guess it's hard to really explain. You'd have to see it, but it was a lot of fun. Guys, we've got a few minutes left with you. Xavier, what's up for next year? Tell us when the season's going to start, and a little bit, if you guys, and a little bit, how can people? Is it possible how people can watch you? Is that possible?
Yes. So we start training camp, I believe, in September, if I'm not mistaken. But like over the summer, we have like little like mini tournaments and stuff like that. Like we're all involved like throughout the whole year. And the way you can watch us is I think through Abigail TV. And if you can't get through there, we're Facebook Live every game. So if you look up my team, Bennington Martins, go right on Facebook. Every time we have a game, it's live. So
And we can also get the schedule on the Bennington Martins Facebook page. Probably
yes,
will give us all the information that we need.
100%.
Yeah. And you guys practice year round?
So not year round, but like we'll have like workouts here and there. Like we'll throw a little scrimmage in there. Like it's pretty active.
All
But
right.
practice really doesn't start till I would say training camp, so like late September, October.
All right. John, what's your workout schedule look like? I know you guys you're busy, and how many days a week do you guys practice? I'm curious because you guys got to have other things that you do during the week. So, what does it look like? What's your workout regimen look like?
So my workout schedule, as of right now, I'm in the gym every Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday. Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday. I'm in the gym Monday, Wednesday from about 5 to 8, 5 to 9. And then on Sundays, I'm in the gym 11 to 3. And I get, as of right now, I have two different trainers. I have my shooting trainer and I have my, dribbling, ball handling skills trainer. So Monday and Wednesday, I work on shooting, finishing around the rim. And then Sundays, I mainly work on dribbling and ball handling skills.
All right. Well, maybe we're gonna need to. I may need to fly these guys in to help me a little bit with my game. What do you guys think? Would you do it?
I'm down.
I want to be ready for next year. Have they announced next year where the finals are going to be? I know that I wasn't there, and I haven't talked to Damon Cannon yet. Have they announced where everything's going to be next year?
I haven't seen anything, so I don't think so. But I'm not really sure.
All right. Last question I have for both of you: is there summer leagues or anything that you do that you play until November?
I play in a few summer leagues, like by where I live at, and over in like the city area, just to stay like in shape, stay active.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Damien, I need to join a 50 and over league.
And a gym.
It got me excited, guys. You guys got me excited about basketball again. I don't know if I told you, but I played high school basketball for 3 years, and I played a total of 43 seconds. I went to the school called Whitfield, a small little school, right? In eighth graders played high school, right? So I spent 43 seconds, and I took 2 shots, and I made them both. And in my senior year, not my senior year, my last year at Whitfield, I just left because he wouldn't put me in anymore. They wouldn't put me in anymore. So that's the last time I played. So not bad for haven't played in almost 40 years. I didn't do so bad.
43 seconds, 2 buckets. I'll take it.
2 buckets. Yeah, I drove the layup, and I hit a 3-pointer. So
that's tough. That's tough.
Well, you have the best career shooting percentage at Whitfield.
Well, not anymore. I'm now now I'm like 66.6% because I hit the rim the other day.
Well, if that was not at Whitfield.
No, it wasn't.
All buckets are good buckets.
That's what I'm saying, right? A win's a win. Gentlemen, I definitely want to keep in touch with you. This was a lot of fun. It goes by fast, and there's a lot more that I'd like to cover. Hopefully that you both will come back and join us soon.
Hey, good luck, Xavier and John.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Hey,
Gentlemen,
we
I
wait.
definitely want to keep in touch with you. This was a lot of fun. It goes by fast.
I'm hearing it again in the background. The show. That's really strange. But guys, we're gonna let you go. Please keep in touch. Please let us know, like how we can watch you if you do something during the summer. I'd like to keep up with you guys as much as we can. All right.
For sure. Appreciate you having me.
All right. Thanks, guys, very much. We got to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be joined by Greg Damon from KMOX. We'll be right back.
I have no.
Total domination.
I've got a golden ticket.
That's a winner!
I've got a golden ticket.
That's a winner!
Welcome back, everyone who are here live at DraftKings at Casino Queen. I'm joined with my co-host tonight, Damian Byro, and on the line from KMOX, Greg Damon. Greg, what's going on?
Not much, David. How are you doing?
Doing fantastic. It's one of my favorite evenings of the year. It's NFL draft night, about to get kicked off here in about 26 minutes. I don't know if you guys have met. Damian, have you met Greg?
No, I have not.
Well, you're going to find out that he is so
Not
knowledgeable.
opinionated.
Well, that not at all. And we're going to talk a little Green Bay Packers. Let's start off. You know, we've been talking about this before. It's finally happened. So, Greg, give us a little insight on what's going on with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers now a member of the Jets. I have to tell you, it was a little sickening for me to see him in a Jets shirt. But hey, I'm also kind of glad the drama's over and we don't have to go through this, AKA Brett Favre all over again. It seems kind of funny that both Favre and Aaron Rodgers both traded to the Jets at the end of their career with Green Bay. But I got to tell you, I think Green Bay came out smelling like a rose on what they got for Aaron Rodgers.
So is Jordan Love the future right now?
Jordan Love is QB1. I think the rest of the team has kind of bought into that because, they knew it was coming. I think everybody knew at the end of the season, the way things ended. I think that there was probably a pretty good chance that either Aaron Rodgers retired or that he was going to be going to a different team.
Got anything, Damien?
Oh, I absolutely agree with him. I think the Jets got fleeced in that trade. I didn't think they'd have to give up as much as they did because that will be a first round pick next year unless Rodgers gets injured, which he never does. Moving up 2 spots in the first round this year and acquiring a second round pick was a great deal for the Packers considering the situation they were in.
Yeah. So Greg,
yeah, absolutely. I can't. I think they did an outstanding job with this trade. And what really gets me though is here we go. They're talking about taking a wide receiver in the first round possibly for Green Bay this year. And man, I can't tell you the last time they took a wide receiver in the first round. You think you'd want to give Aaron Rodgers all the weapons he could, but that certainly didn't happen.
No, he was begging. He was begging for a wide receiver to be drafted in the last 3 or 4 seasons, and and then of course they get rid of Devontae Adams, and who was their elite receiver. They just trade him. If I'm Aaron Rodgers, I'd have wanted out of Green Bay myself. No offense. I know if you're a Packers fan, I absolutely understand why he'd want out of Green Bay because they really just kind of slapped him in the face with the Jordan Love pick a couple of years ago, and then trading Devontae Adams like they did. And now, like you said, now they're talking about drafting a receiver.
I think there's some stuff about Devontae Adams behind the scenes that probably we don't know about, as far as to why he was traded. But I'm just going to say this. I was just reading that Aaron Rodgers reworked his contract with the Jets, and he's going to make $158 million over the next couple of years, which is just unbelievable money. But when your team has a third of its cash or salary cap in one player, what does that do for the rest of the players? How many good players do you get out of the rest of the team?
Well, I wanted to ask you though, how do you think Aaron Rodgers fits with the Jets offense? Their defense, the team is young, and what I really like is their defense. I don't know much about their offense. How do you what weapons do they have?
Well, the team has got an outstanding defense. They got a couple of really good receivers. They desperately need to draft a left tackle. They need some offensive line help. Rodgers is definitely going to have somebody protect him on the left side. That was a big thing with Bakhtiari. As you know, when he was out, they did a pretty good job, but it wasn't like Rodgers was used to. I hope, as you said, their team's young. I think that was one of Rodgers' problems last year with the Packers. They've got these young receivers, and he expected them to come in and be able to play, unlike Devontae Adams his first year when he was horrible. I don't think Rodgers helped himself by trying to coach up or help these young receivers learn his system. And I think he's got to do the same thing now in New York.
Garrett Wilson had absolute trash throwing into the football last year, and Garrett Wilson's he's going to be Devontae Adams in New York. He's going to be the number 1 receiver for Aaron Rodgers, and he's going to be loved by Aaron Rodgers. And you're going to have, and they got Breece Hall coming back from that injury, running back. The Jets have some players, but you're absolutely right. If the Jets don't take an offensive lineman in the first round, I'll be shocked. It's got to be a tackle. I'm a Steelers fan. I'm hoping the Steelers jump ahead of the Jets and take a particular tackle. And I absolutely agree with you. The Jets will take offensive line.
They definitely need some offensive line help. Let's face it, Aaron Rodgers is 39 years old. I mean, he is not as mobile as what he used to. He's more of a pocket passer than he is a guy who escapes a lot. Especially long, as he's getting older in his career, it's tougher for him to get outside the pocket and run and be accurate with everything else. So they've really got to step up their offensive line, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I'm excited to see what he does up there. I'm more curious, believe it or not, to see what Jordan Love does. And are they going to draft a backup, or do they already have one?
They're going to probably draft a backup in the draft. They do have somebody, and I can't remember who it is off the top of my head. But they've got to get somebody that that they think is going to be pretty good. I mean, let's face it. What if Jordan Love's a bust and he can't do anything? They're going to have some sort of quarterback. That if they don't pick up his option to come in and be able to get the team next year. You know what I mean? Something like a Brock Purdy type, something like that.
Well, how long's the leash on Jordan Love? What do you think? They going to just stick with him all year?
Say it again. I did not hear you.
I said, how long's the leash with him? Are they going to give him half a season, see what he does, or the whole season? What are they going to do?
Oh, he's going to get the whole season. I mean, he's going to get the whole season. There's no doubt about it. He's going to have every opportunity to prove himself, a worthy pick that he was, and run this offense. Out of training camp last year when Rodgers didn't show up to all the voluntary stuff, there were a lot of folks that were really praising reporters and obviously Green Bay management, but even some of the players were talking about how well Jordan Love adjusted and how well he picked up the offense and was able to run the plays, run out of that system.
Well, he also, his one start last year against the Chiefs, he acquitted himself very, very well as well. They lost a close game in Kansas City. He looks like he's got some definite ability, and with Dobbs and Watson, he's got a couple of young receivers on the outside that he can grow with, and obviously still having Aaron Jones in the backfield is going to be a big help to him.
And don't forget A.J. Dillon on top of that. I mean, arguably the Packers have the best runners, the best running backs in the entire league with those two guys. He's got some dynamic receivers. They've really got to get out and draft a tight end. That's got to be one of their top priorities is getting one or two tight ends. Josh D'Agara is the only tight end right now that's got any NFL experience. And he's really more of a special teams player.
All right, a few more minutes with you, Greg. Any insight on any players? We're about 18 minutes away from the first pick in the NFL draft. What are your thoughts on any players tonight?
Well, I think Bryce Young definitely he's going to go top 3. That kid's going to be a stud in the NFL, no doubt about it. My dark horse pick, I think, is Will Levis from Kentucky. I think he's probably for me. I think he's probably the guy that I would want. Big arm, all sorts of arrogance and confidence that you need. I think he's gonna go early and really become a stud. I really like the big guys, the offensive line. I really think that Peter, and I'm gonna probably mess up his name, but it's Skordowski from Northwestern. Man, that guy is a stud. I bet you he starts immediately wherever he goes. He is a big time NFL player.
What do you think?
I'm going to respectfully disagree with you on Will Levis. I believe he will be an absolute bust. I think he was the 7th best quarterback in the SEC last year. I absolutely despise Will Levis. I think he's.
Hey, he's got a
big
for Kentucky, man.
He's got a big arm, but I think he's got a 2-cent head. I didn't like his decision making last year. Now, granted, Kentucky had very young players. They had a very good running back. Their best receiver was a freshman last year. So I mean,
right.
he didn't have that much necessarily to work with. But I'm not impressed with Will Levis at all. He's got all the peripherals to be, he's got all the measurements to be a really good quarterback. I just don't. But so did Ryan Leaf. I I do not believe in Will Levis at all.
Ryan Leaf.
See,
What a bust.
I'm that way with C.J. Stroud. I am exactly that same way with C.J. Stroud. Kid's got all the athletic ability in the world, but I think when he gets to the NFL level, he's going to be like Kyler Murray, and not have the correct decision making or prepare himself for games as well.
I have I agree with you on Bryce Young. My only question about Bryce Young is he big enough to hold up in the NFL?
Correct.
That's my only question about Bryce Young. I'm a big Anthony Richardson guy.
Yep.
I love Anthony. We do a lot of betting, talking about betting. I actually took a prop bet getting +3 to 1 that Richardson would be drafted before Levis a couple of weeks ago. I'm hoping that pays off. I got the ticket here in front of me. So, but I'm a big Anthony. I believe he's the highest upside quarterback in this draft, and I believe he even has greater upside than than Young. I believe he's a safer pick than Young, just because like I said, I'm hoping Young goes to Carolina at number 1 because they at least have a pretty solid offensive line that they need wide receivers like you wouldn't believe, but he at least has a solid offensive line. He goes to Houston, he might not survive the season. He's
correct.
Well,
that's any of the quarterbacks, to be honest with you.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm afraid of whoever goes to Houston. If Houston takes a quarterback, because their offensive line's
let's
so
be realistic.
bad.
I mean, the teams that are drafting that need quarterbacks. I mean, every quarterback that's in this draft has a different skill set, whether it be a pocket passer, whether it be a guy that's going to roll every play. And that offense has to be tailored to that skill set from the quarterback. And I think we see a lot of times in the draft where teams will pick a quarterback, but yet that quarterback does not fit the system that the team plays. I'll just say case in point, the Washington Redskins at the time with RG3. Here's a guy that runs every play, and they have their offense set up for a pocket passer, which is why he got hurt and really kind of ruined his career. And I think teams really, if they're smart, they're gonna do their reading correctly. They need to pick a quarterback that's going to fit their system.
Well, interesting that you bring that up. I actually drove Mike Shanahan. I was with him for a couple of hours, and we talked NFL, and he was not wanting to draft RG3. That was a Daniel Snyder pick.
Shocking.
Yeah, it was a Daniel Snyder pick. Now, he had nothing bad to say about RG3, but he picked Kirk Cousins in the 4th round. He was not a big believer in RG3. He didn't know if he'd be able to hold up. And, he wanted Kirk Cousins as a fallback just in case something happened with RG3. So that's, like I said, Daniel Snyder, he's meddled in that team previously. It's a good thing for the now Commanders that they've gotten rid of him, because if it wasn't, he forced them to take Dwayne Haskins. Another Daniel Snyder genius move. And you wonder why the Washington football team's been awful for the last 10 years. He meddles worse than Jerry Jones.
Well, that's what I was going to bring up. I mean, look at the Cowboys. I mean, really, the Cowboys are a fairly above average, mediocre team because Jerry Jones meddles in everything.
Yeah, that's got to stop. It's not going to.
Yeah, and like I said, Snyder made Jones look like a genius.
Right, exactly.
Oh, yeah, people that agree. What's going on here?
Oh, sorry to make such boring commentary.
No, it's not at all. Not at all. Greg, Carolina Panthers. Yes. Carolina Panthers first up tonight. Houston, Texas second. Any idea what the Carolina Panthers are going to be looking for?
Well, they're going to take a quarterback. Obviously, yeah. They've already settled on who it is. Who it's going to be, I don't know. Houston Texans. They've been Hendon Hooker has been kind of linked to the Houston Texans. How about that? But there's also a lot of rumors going on that they may trade back and let somebody else have that pick. So I think you're going to see a lot of movement this first round with teams trading up, trading back, trying to stockpile draft picks.
Yeah, I know that Arizona Cardinals, they're number 3. Well, what a big disappointment last year. I really thought they were a better team than 4-13, but
they may actually have the worst roster in the NFL right now, especially considering that their best player on both sides of the ball wants out. Hopkins wants out. And
Right.
I expect him. I expect that Arizona trades him. I wouldn't be stunned if he ends up in Buffalo, and maybe Buffalo gets rid of Stephon Diggs, for example. You know, it's I I just
I think Hopkins definitely gets traded tonight. I think
Wow.
here's a real one. I think Austin Eckler leaves tonight as well for the Chargers.
I'm generally not pro player on stuff like that. You sign your contract, you play for it, but that man has outrageously exceeded his contract. He deserves to get paid.
Right.
And,
Exactly.
and I'm hoping that he gets paid from by somebody and gets to go somewhere. He's got a special skill set. The Chargers are going to, unless the Chargers draft Bijan Robinson to replace him, they're going to really regret not taking care of Austin Eckler.
Well, now you never know what's going to happen. But how about another big rumor is the Titans trading Derrick Henry, and the Eagles are supposedly really interested. How about that, Derrick Henry? If he goes to the Eagles, talk about a super team, man. Who's going to go through that buzzsaw?
Yeah, but I have to say, why? Please, somebody enlighten me on why the Titans would entertain getting rid of Derrick Henry.
Because the Titans might have the second
it's the
worst
same
roster
it's
in
the same as
NFL.
Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he costs a lot of money. Obviously he's getting older. He's exceeded what most running backs are in the NFL today. He plays a bruising style. He's just going to run over top you. He's not going to run around you. He's going to run over top you. And at some point, his production is really going to start to slow down and fall off.
He reminds me of an Earl Campbell of the late '70s. An elite running back for 6-7 years, and then when he fell off the table, he was done. And Derrick Henry very well may be the same way. He might have a year, maybe two left in him. You might as well get something now for him while the Titans completely need to rebuild that roster. That roster is very, very bad. Very.
How about what's his name from Tampa Bay, from out of LSU? He runs the same kind of style, and his production is falling every year. It seems like.
Yeah, Leonard Fournette. Yeah, and Tampa let him go. They just
right.
And Fournette hasn't found a suitor yet. It's just
He will.
He will, but at the same time, he does. He's very similar to Henry, like he said. He's just not as good. And now granted, Tampa Bay had horrible offensive line play last year. They had lost 3 of their starters in the first 3 weeks of the season, and and Tampa's done a nice job rebuilding that offensive line. They got 2 offensive linemen in free agency, and they're going to get back Tristan Wirfs, who was their best offensive lineman. But like if you want fantasy advice, possibly Rachaad White might be a pretty decent player for Tampa in the future. Depending on if Baker Mayfield's the answer at quarterback or not. But at least Tampa will have a better offensive line. But I don't.
Yeah, I can't see Baker Mayfield making the season in Tampa Bay. I mean, I just.
Well, we'll see.
At least he has Godwin,
and fan.
At least he has Chris Godwin and Evans to throw to. So he at least has 2 elite wide receivers. But I'm kind of with you. I've never been a Baker Mayfield fan. I was against him when Cleveland took him the first overall. I didn't think he was a good quarterback then, and I still don't.
Oh, Antonio Brown. Right. Antonio Brown's probably available.
Yeah, he'll still be available.
What'd you say?
He said Antonio Brown was still available.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you can the quarterback from Tennessee, he's available. Why can't I think of his name off the top of my head? It just escaped me. Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, is he out?
No, he's still available too.
Yeah,
he wasn't. He's not very good either. He's basically Ryan Tannehill is like a slightly better version of Baker Mayfield.
I'd rather bring back Fitzpatrick.
I absolutely agree with you.
He's waiting on the phone call. Trust me, he's probably waiting. He's like a Vinny Testaverde at 48. He'll be play for whatever team calls, right?
He's like what's his name from Mizzou? That's been a career backup.
Oh, Chase Daniel.
Chase.
Daniel.
Daniel. What a great career this guy's had. Made millions and millions of dollars, and still, he's maybe had 1 concussion.
He's made over $100 million and has about 8 NFL starts.
Yeah. How do I think he's got the last laugh of any NFL player, maybe ever.
You bet.
Yeah, and he got a championship his first year, his rookie year. He's got a championship with the Saints.
I
His
was
rookie year.
I always thought the kicker was the best position to be in the NFL, but it might be the backup quarterback
Yeah,
for a team with a good offensive line. Or
yeah.
you don't have to do nothing; you get paid.
You made over 100 million. You have 8 NFL starts. You've never been seriously hurt, and you have a championship.
I think the long snapper is the best, most secure position because you
Oh, you can't even hit him now.
snapper.
Yeah, you're right. You can't
So-
even hit a long snapper now. Good point.
They pay those guys pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there are a couple of these long snappers during the offseason. They got deals near a couple $1 million. Just that's simply all they're going to do is be the long snapper on extra points and punts and field goals. That's solely their job. And
Yep.
they're getting paid and they don't get touched.
Hey, Greg.
Yes, sir.
I know you at your son's practice, right?
Yep.
And,
Yep. Actually, there's a long snapper here practicing right now. So
Yeah, and how's that going?
it's going pretty well. Getting ready for he's getting ready for high school. So just getting as much training as possible, as much reps as he can, and go from there.
Well, that's super exciting. What position does he play?
He plays anywhere on the line. He can play left tackle, right tackle, center, both guards. He'll play anywhere.
So he's about to be a freshman, and how big is he?
So he is. He just grew another inch. He's 6'3", 245 pounds, 13 and a half wide shoe.
Freshman.
Oh my God.
Freshman.
He's bigger than I am.
Freshman.
Yeah, he's in 8th grade right now. So
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to play high school football.
No, I'm 6'2" and 210, and I feel dwarfed already.
well, he's he's working out with all the high school guys here, and it's really funny. And his best friend, who is going to the same high school he is, and he's about the same size. And it's like I look at these guys with the rest of the offensive line from all these other high schools, and they are about in the middle of all these offensive linemen, and it's like these kids are only in 8th grade.
Unreal.
Well, I just imagine your food bill.
Let me tell you, it's been pretty crazy lately.
That's
but
funny.
what I'm looking for is number 1 overall pick and dad on his payroll.
Well, I mean, of course you're going to be his agent, right? Of
That's
course.
right. No pressure.
Yeah, you better maybe I don't know, maybe you already have, but maybe you should go in the next 4 years go to learn how to be an agent.
I should.
Yeah. It couldn't hurt, right?
I can't do worse than some of these other agents. That's for sure.
Well, nobody's going to have the best interest anybody but you in your kid, right? So
Right.
that'd be quite a story, Greg. Greg, thanks so much for taking the time with us, man. I know we're all curious to see what happens with your Green Bay Packers this year, and then how Aaron Rodgers does in New York. We're going to take a 2-minute break. When we come back, I think the Carolina Panthers are going to be on the clock.
You're
Right?
looking forward to Bryce Young being selected number 1.
All right, let's see if we can get your bet in. Greg, thank you so much for coming on, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Have a good evening.
All right, that was Greg Damon from KMOX. You can reach him at your service on KMOX. Greg is wonderful. He is the reason that I got into radio. I went on his show many years ago as a guest, and he says, "Hey, you want to come talk about the Kentucky Derby? I got a half hour open on my show." Are you kidding me? I get to talk about horse racing on your show? Are you kidding? So that was many years ago, and that's how that all progressed into where we are today. All right, quick 2-minute break. We'll be right back.
Domination.
I've got a golden ticket.
That's a winner!
Welcome back to the Winning Ticket. We are here live at DraftKings at Casino Queen, and it is 7 o'clock Central Time. The NFL Draft has begun, Damian.
Yes, I am on the clock, and so are the Carolina Panthers.
The Carolina Panthers on the clock. Let's go real quick while we're waiting for their pick to come in. What are your thoughts and their needs?
I'd be stunned if they took anybody other than Bryce Young. Bryce Young's the most NFL ready player in this draft at the quarterback position. My only question about Bryce Young is, can he hold up physically? He's kind of a smaller quarterback. Carolina does have a pretty solid offensive line. They got a pretty good running game. Their wide receiver position's pretty weak. I mean, Adam Thielen's your number one. You're not doing well. So I expect Carolina to, with some of their other picks here, I expect them to kind of try to get a receiver or two to give Bryce Young a target. But that's, I mean, Carolina's, they lost, more to the Bears, who was their best wide receiver in the trade to get the number one pick. And, they've made a couple of moves in the offseason. They picked up Miles Sanders, for example.
Yeah.
They did lose Foreman, Deontay Foreman. He went to Chicago. But I fully expect that Carolina takes Bryce Young.
So what about Darnold? What's up with him?
Darnold is now in San Francisco.
That's what
He's
I
the, with San Francisco, with Trey Lance coming off the injury and Garoppolo being now with the Raiders, and Brock Purdy with his, his elbow situation. There's a, I mean, if Purdy's ready to go opening day, I believe he'll be the starter. There's some speculation that Lance could potentially get moved, although I would tend to doubt it.
All right.
You traded up to get him as a third overall pick a couple of seasons ago. I mean, yes, they may have found fool's gold in Brock Purdy, who may, Tom Brady-esque potentially. But San Francisco's got all sorts of talent all, at wide receiver, tight end, McCaffrey at running back. So I don't, they don't have a first round pick. So, we won't be talking too much about them, but I don't know what San Francisco really needs to worry about there as far as, they don't have Darnold anymore.
Well, we're going to try to move through. We're going to try to cover, and we're only on for the next hour, and the draft is going to be 3 hours tonight, first round. So what we're going to do, while the teams are on the clock, we're going to keep moving forward with your notes and kind of go over as many teams as we can, what their needs might be, and of course, as picks come in, maybe we'll adjust and talk about then why the Carolina Panthers are on the clock. As soon as they put their pick is in, we'll let you guys know, which you may be watching or not, but we'll definitely talk about when their pick is in. So you want to go in order, draft order?
Yeah, the second pick, the Houston Texans. Houston's had a great offseason. They've added, very good pieces all across their team. The only player they lost of any consequence is Brandon Cooks, who they traded to Dallas, and they got a couple of draft picks in that deal. Houston could go anywhere. I know that I seriously doubt they take C.J. Stroud. I know a lot of people are speculating they take Stroud, but C.J. Stroud's agent's the same agent that represented Deshaun Watson. And the Texans made it very clear that they want nothing to do with that particular agent. I think the Texans may, D'Amico Ryan's coming over from San Francisco, being a defensive coach. They may take the best defensive player on the board in Will Anderson. I personally, if I'm the Texans, I take Anthony Richard. I take the Florida quarterback. I'm a big believer in him. I believe he's got the highest upside of any quarterback in this class. I believe he's got a pretty safe floor even. He just needs a little time. You can, if you're the Texans, you want to, give him time. You can let Davis Mills run out there and take a beating for the first half, 2/3 of the season, because the Texans don't have a good offensive line, but there's not an offensive lineman worth taking at the second pick in this draft. So I would just, if I'm the Texans, I would go ahead and just continue to add to my defense and take Will Anderson.
Stills is that their answer at quarterback? Is he still with them?
Davis Mills.
Davis Mills. I'm sorry,
Davis
not
Mills.
Stills. Davis Mills. So I don't think, I mean, not all their games were that bad last year. I think they were competitive in
They
quite a
were
few games.
competitive in quite a few games down the stretch. I think that's more of a reflection on the coach. I thought Lovie Smith did a very good job with that team last year. And quite honestly, I kind of thought it was kind of entertaining. They went for 2 in that last game and beat
Yeah.
the Colts to, because he knew
Take them out of the playoffs,
he knew
right?
he knew he was going to get fired, and so he wanted to win and kind of stick it to the organization because the organization didn't want him to win. Because Houston, they wanted the number 1 pick, and he decided he wanted to win the game because he knew he was gone anyway, and he went for 2 against Indy and got the 2-point conversion, and they won the game, and now they have the 2nd pick.
But didn't that decide India's fate?
No, Indy had like the 6th or 7th. Indy has the 4th pick. Indy was really bad
Who am I
last year.
thinking got beat and took them out of the playoffs on the last game of last year? I can't remember. I don't know why I brought that up, but I was thinking somebody got beat like that last year, and it took their playoff run away. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, and I'll look it up.
Pittsburgh would have got in if Miami would have lost to the Jets.
Maybe that's it. I'm gonna look it up, see if I can find it. But all right. So next up
would be the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah,
if there's a team that needs to make a
they
trade,
looked terrible last year.
If there's a team that needs to trade, it's the Arizona Cardinals. That team might have the worst roster in the NFL. They lost their best cornerback in Murphy. J.J. Watt retired. Hopkins is desperately trying to get out of there. Their offensive line isn't good. They don't have their running game's not good. That team needs help everywhere.
So where do you think they go first round?
If I'm Arizona, I trade down. And I don't think they're going to, I think the best player on the board for Arizona would be Javon Carter. If Will Anderson doesn't go to Houston, I believe Will Anderson will be the pick for Arizona. If Anderson goes to Houston, I really think Arizona trades down and let one of those teams move up and get one of the quarterbacks. Arizona just has so many holes to fill. I don't see them being able to fill. They might as well just rebuild the whole roster. It's just a bad situation.
Speaking of the Colts, who's their quarterback again?
They traded. They released Matt Ryan.
That's what I thought.
The Colts are going to draft a quarterback.
That's what I thought. I thought they released Matt Ryan. Yeah.
They desperately need a Sam Ehlinger.
Sam
Ehlinger. He is not the answer.
No, but I thought little spurts of him last year weren't terrible.
But
it's once again here, Damian. You throw a kid like that right in, right, and you really don't know what you have when you do that. I think that you got to give them. I guess once again it's a team game, right? You got to have some good pieces around.
Well, Indy did get Gardner Minshew, the quarterback
Gardner
from Philly.
Minshew, the mustache.
But I believe he's the placeholder. I believe he'll start this year.
Okay.
And they will groom whichever wide receiver they pick. He'll be groomed by Gardner Minshew. Indy's they got a solid offensive line. They've got Jonathan, Taylor at a running back. They've got at least some pieces to kind of help bring a young quarterback along. But they have got to draft a quarterback and develop a quarterback.
Go ahead.
So that's where I believe Indy's going. I believe I believe Indy's going to take. I know a lot of people are speculating that Levis goes there. I think Richardson will be their pick if he's available.
Seattle trades up, go to number 5 through Denver.
Yeah, Seattle. This was part of the Russell Wilson trade.
Russell Wilson trade.
I believe Seattle's going to take Javon Carter if he's there at number 5. He's a big mountain of a man. He's a stud. He's got some potential off-field issues. He avoided some jail time with a nice plea deal he got with his lawyer based on a speeding charge that resulted in some fatalities. He was not the driver, but he evidently was a drag race, and the people in the other car died in the accident. He was able to avoid jail time with a plea deal. He's got some other off-field issues that I've read about that but on the football field, On the football field, he is an absolute beast. He did one other thing about him is he did kind of put on a little bit of weight between the pro day and the NFL draft that they do in the combine. He put on like 10 or 12 pounds, and he didn't look very good. And he actually quit his workout at the at his college pro day, which did not endear him very well to some of the executives. But you look at him on tape, he is just an absolute beast. And I think the Seahawks can overlook some of those other things because they need a run stuffing guy in the middle of that defense, and he will stuff everything in the middle of that defense.
All right. I have adopted. You've got a Detroit Lions jersey on. I'm a Baltimore Ravens fan, period. But I've adopted the Detroit Lions because of their coach. I love their coach. I loved Hard Knocks, and I am on the bandwagon. Would call me a fair weather fan, and maybe I'll stick with them after this year. But I actually like what I saw at Detroit last year.
Oh,
But
they have a very promising team. They're very
even
young.
with golf, you think?
Yeah, I think they're fine with They got 2 first-round picks in this draft. They're I personally I bet on them to draft a defensive lineman in the first round. A lot of people are speculating they're going to take a cornerback, either Witherspoon or Christian Gonzalez from Oregon. But I believe they're going to take. I believe if Carter gets to them, they take him, and if he doesn't get to him, I believe they're going to take the kid from Texas Tech, Wilson, who's an edge rusher, to go pair him opposite Aiden Hutchinson, and just have a very dominant defensive line. They got 2 cornerbacks in free agency, so they signed a couple of solid corners in free agency. They don't really need that position as desperately as they do. There's not a linebacker worth taking this early, so I'm guessing that they're hoping one of those 3 defensive Anderson, Carter, or Wilson gets to them at number 6, and that's where I believe they're going to go at that pick.
You watched Hard Knocks, right?
I did not.
You never watched it?
Well, years ago, but I don't have HBO. So.
Okay. All right. So I don't have it in anymore, but I'm going to sign up for it when Hard Knocks comes out again because it's honestly one of my favorite sports. I don't know if you call it documentary shows or whatever, but one of my favorite ones. I don't know if you remember years and years ago was the Ravens. I think was it the Ravens? God, I don't know. I have to look at. I have to look at it. I wasn't prepared to talk about Hard Knocks, but all I can tell you is that it's got a little different over the years. The format of Hard Knocks has got a little different. They used to show, the whole process of the young person coming in, the stories, more storytelling, and now it's not as much storytelling on individual players, like really digging into certain players' lives. It's more of I don't know. I still enjoy it. I'll just say I still enjoy it. It's one of my favorite shows to watch. And last year, coach for Detroit really he got my blood pumping, and that's hard to do. So I'm going to be a Detroit Lions fan this year.
Well, they were a fun team to watch last year as well. They went.
They had the most best offense in the league for a while, right?
Yeah, they did. But I mean, they played to win the game. As Herman Edwards would say. I mean, they did not try to run the clock out. And give the ball back to the team with 52 seconds left and 1 timeout. They went for the first down and went for the throat to win a game. They would run a play action pass, throw it a stunner to the tight end, or they had the 1 tackle eligible play. That was great. That won them a game. They were able to run out the clock after they got the first down on a tackle eligible pass. So Detroit's they're a fun team to watch. I will probably bet them to win their division. When the
I wonder what kind of odds we can get. I'm gonna look. I'll look. Can you look that up? In time.
We'll have to. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Maybe next week after
Yeah.
after the NFL draft. When we do a recap on it. But the Lions are very promising. They have a very promising roster, and unfortunately, you want to talk about that?
What?
The gambling situation right now?
Yeah, we can absolutely do that.
Well, unfortunately for them, they lost Jameson Williams, who was their number 1 pick last year for the first 6 weeks of the season because he placed a bet not on the NFL, but he placed a bet while he was on the team's property.
Yes.
And the NFL has a rule that you cannot gamble at all while you're on the team's property. You can't
wasn't
gamble
even
at
the
all on the
same
NFL.
sport.
It was not on the football at all. But he placed a bet while he was at the Detroit Lions, training center, and along with 4 other players, 3 of which were also Lions, which the Lions did release 2 of the other 3. And now the other 2 of the 3 weren't very
Now you can play
impactful
fantasy
player.
sports, right?
Yeah, you can play
You can play
fantasy,
fantasy,
but you
which is to
can't.
me is the same thing as making a wager.
But you can't gamble. You can't place an actual bet on a sporting event. Now the other 2 players bet on an NFL game, is my understanding, or they
That
bet
they weren't
something with the
involved in.
NFL that they were not involved in.
Not involved.
They got year-long suspensions, and the Lions just released them. One was Quintez Cephas. I can't remember the other one, who was a defensive back. I can't remember the gentleman's name. The other one that also got the year. And then I believe there was a player from I believe it was the Washington Commanders that also got suspended for 6 games, because he also did the same type of thing where he was at the NFL. He was at the training camp with the team, and he placed a bet that was not involving the NFL, and I believe he also got 6 games.
All right, so I'm going to ask you personally. Do you have a problem with that?
If you're betting on the NFL, I have a huge problem with it if you're a player.
If it's not in your game.
If it's not the NFL, I don't. I think that's a little strict. What's it matter if he takes 2 steps off the property and decides he wants to bet an NBA game?
Okay, but here we go. So it's not the same sport. Okay, people say, well, they might have more insight than a regular average person like me, and I disagree. What stops a family member from making the wager, right? And they can just tell them the same information that they know. I don't have a problem on different sports. Look, there's more players in other sports have friends that are players in other sports, right? Right? And whatever information they know, they can use, they can wager on. But that same information is probably out there to other people. So they're allowed to bet. I just don't think it's either you say if you sign up for the NFL, well, your whole family can't make a wager. I mean, how far does it go? I mean, I personally have no problem with them betting on another sport. I do have a problem with them betting on their own sport.
I absolutely agree.
100%. The influence can carry through. Could it into another sport? Maybe, but they physically don't have anything to do with it. So yeah, no, I have a problem with definitely betting on another NFL game. But betting, if you want to bet a baseball game while you're waiting for your practice to start, or whatever reason you want to bet a baseball game, you're allowed to play fantasy sports. And in my eyes, it's not really that different, right?
Not to me.
It's not really that different. So,
but the crazy thing is, like, you can be in the NFL and you can have you can play fantasy football if you're an NFL player, and that's okay. So, which I don't actually have a problem with it, but I just think it's funny that you can play fantasy football, being an NFL player and play fantasy football, but you can't bet on the Boston Celtics Atlanta Hawks game tonight. I believe it's just strange. The first pick is in for the Carolina Panthers. They're waiting to announce it here
okay,
on
they haven't announced
on
it
the
yet.
NFL Network.
Yeah.
So they haven't announced it yet. Like I said, if this isn't Bryce Young, I'd be absolutely floored.
So last week, somebody I know said, "Hey, David, put a flyer. Not really a flyer, but I don't know the odds, and I never looked it up, and I should have because I was supposed to be prepared for that tonight. But I wonder what Bryce Young was to be first overall pick.
He was
Probably
minus 500 last that I saw, and then they pulled it
for
down
the number one pick
for
or
the number
first
for the
round?
number 1 pick.
Minus 500.
Minus 500. And then
I was
that
hoping
was
to getting closer to even money.
No, that was at one point it was, but last week they actually pulled it down last week, and Bryce Young is the number 1 pick
There
going to
it
the
is.
Carolina Panthers.
Yep.
You're a Carolina Panthers fan. That's got to excite you. Like I said, they have a good offensive line, and he's going to need some players to throw the football to.
He's 5'10".
He is 5'10".
Yeah.
He's He's like 195
Yeah,
pounds.
195,
I think
5'10", 195.
yeah, I think he put on. I think they're trying to get him to put on a few pounds. He's like like Kyler Murray's 5'10", like Kyler Murray's 210, 215. He's a
Right.
thick guy.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson's the same way. Even coming
Right.
out of college, they were thicker guys. Bryce Young, he couldn't hold up last year playing in the SEC, which, like I said, this is my biggest issue with him. Can he physically hold up to the pounding of the NFL? And like I said, it's better that he got picked by Carolina than by Houston, because Carolina's offensive line
Who do
is
they got at
considerably
left
better than
tackle?
Houston's. Houston, that's the one position Houston's actually
No,
got.
no, I
good.
mean who?
I'm
Carolina.
trying to remember if it might be Jordan Gross. I don't remember if he retired. That's the name that's coming to my mind. I'd have to.
How's Carolina's defense? Is it terrible? I didn't think it was that bad.
They have good cornerbacks.
Okay.
You got Horn and the kid from they traded for Jacksonville. Their cornerbacks are pretty good. Defensively, up the middle, they're pretty good. They don't have much of a pass rush. The linebackers are weak. Safeties aren't very good. But let me see. I'm trying to remember who Carolina. Carolina did make a couple of nice acquisitions in the offseason here. They picked up the cornerback from Miami. They picked up a defensive end. They picked up Hayden Hurst from Cincinnati at tight end. Pretty good blocker, not bad out of the receiver. They did get Von Bell from New Orleans. That's a good pickup at safety as well. But they desperately need a wide receiver, and they needed a guy who can rush the passer. And they did get a linebacker as well. Grugier Hill from Arizona, who is probably Arizona's best linebacker last year. So, they have some issues, but he's going into a better situation would be in Houston. Now this is the pick that I think will determine a lot of the next few picks. If Carolina takes a quarterback or if they take Will Anderson. I believe if Carolina takes Anderson, I believe this could really kind of throw the whole thing in flux. Dark horse here, you may see Indy go ahead and move up to number 2. Although I don't know that Houston would want to trade in the division. You also potentially might see Las Vegas decide they move up from number 7 to try to get to number 2 here and get the quarterback that they want. Houston's just a real question mark here with them hiring the the coach that they got, who's completely defensive minded. And, Houston's far away. They've made a lot of nice ads in the offseason, getting, Singletary from Buffalo, and they got Dalton Schultz from Tampa. They did get Robert Woods, but I think Woods is kind of past his prime, and the Tennessee receiver. They did get a couple offensive linemen, which helps out. They got Jimmy Ward, good cornerback, but they have so many holes in so many places that they're even as weak as the AFC South is. I just wonder what they're going to do. I believe they're going to take Will Anderson. I just because of the coach. And yes, they need a quarterback, but they don't want to mess with C.J. Stroud. I don't think they like Will Levis. I have not seen much of anything saying that they like Levis. And I don't know if they want. Like I said, I think Richardson's the best pick they could make. Just let him sit behind Davis Mills this season. But I believe that they're going to take Anderson, and I think you may see a whole lot of fun start at number 3 with the Arizona Cardinals, because I believe Arizona. That's who Arizona really wants, is Anderson at 3.
All right, we got the Texans pick is in. They haven't announced it yet, but that was quick. Texas. Ask John how he's doing tonight. See how he's doing. John is playing a poker tournament tonight. I'm curious to see how he's doing. And join us tomorrow on 590 The Fan from 6 to 7 tomorrow night. John's going to be back with me. I think John's got a special guest tomorrow. He's going to let me know who it is in the morning. I'm as much as surprised as anybody else. So looking for that. Micah Mills is going to join us and give us his picks for the UFC this weekend. Pick is in. Before we get to the pick, I did want to ask you, go back to the Titans. You said Tannehill's available. Who's taking his spot?
Oh no, he's just if Tennessee could move him.
That's what I'm saying.
It,
Who would
if they could
who
move
we
him
look
for
at
if they
taking?
could move him for a 6-pack of footballs, they would just to
Like,
get out
but
from
do you have
under
any
him.
like thoughts on who would be a good fit for them? Because I kind of
No,
like
because
the Titans,
I don't believe Tannehill's a good quarterback. I'd be
but who's a
stunned.
good fit for the Titans? Who do you think? Who's the possibly?
See, I think the Titans are bad enough run that they may take Levis if he's there at 11.
But
Or
Tannehill
they may
starts.
move up. Oh, Tannehill will be the starter this
Yeah.
year
You
because
don't
they
think he's
can't find they
he's
can't
okay?
find.
He's not. He's fair.
I,
He's got an
I
interesting career though.
yeah, yeah. I mean, he started out as a wide receiver
Yeah.
at Texas A&M. He was actually a very good wide receiver, and then they moved him to quarterback, and he had a couple of nice years.
Here we
And-
go. Texans are up.
And no, the Texans did select C.J. Stroud.
C.J. Stroud, Ohio State quarterback. Wow. So if you're Mills, are you starting?
I believe C.J. Stroud will start day one.
I mean, they picked him second. When you pick that high, you would expect to probably start.
Well, I mean, the one thing, Stroud's mobile, so the fact they don't have an offensive line, they're going to be able to run him out and run toss plays, run sweeps, run they'll be able to get him out of the pocket where he'll be able to avoid pass rushes. I might have bought in a little too much to the fact that the Texans said they weren't going to deal with C.J. Stroud's agent. But it's not. I mean, the Texans desperately needed a quarterback.
Okay, I wanted to get to this because we talked a little bit about it earlier. Talking about maybe Derrick Henry going to the Eagles, right? We talked about that with Greg Damon a little bit earlier in the show. Right now, as we sit here at DraftKings Casino Queen, the Eagles are plus 900 to win the Super Bowl. That number goes down if Henry, maybe not by a lot, maybe to 8-1, 8.5-1. But right now, the Eagles at 9-1. Here, I'll give you the top.
I'll be honest. If I'm the Eagles, instead of trading for Derrick Henry, I take Bijan Robinson at number 10.
Okay.
That would be what I would do if
he's cheap.
I mean,
right?
to me,
He's cheap. He's
to
cheap,
me, the only other
young.
team that could possibly take Robinson in the top 10 would be the Atlanta Falcons. That's the only other team I believe that would take would take
Are
Robinson.
they sticking with Mariota behind center?
No, Mariota is now in Philadelphia.
He's now in Philadelphia as the backup.
Atlanta's got Ritter, and they did
Ritter.
Desmond Ritter. He was third round, fourth round pick from
He's
Cincinnati.
their QB1.
Yeah, he started the last 4 games last year.
Yeah, but I didn't think they'd stick.
He actually had a pretty good rapport with Drake London. Drake London had a very good last few games with him at quarterback. Atlanta also they signed Taylor Heineke as well.
Say that again?
They signed Taylor Heineke.
Atlanta signed.
Yeah,
Taylor.
just in case Ritter.
How does Washington give him up? I thought he was great in Washington.
Well,
I'm a big Tyler. I'm biased.
Yeah.
I'm a Heineke fan.
Oh, I agree with you. Washington has Howell, who is their 4th or 5th round pick last year that they want to use. They want to see what they got with him, and then they also signed Jacoby Brissett, who
right? He's
I mean,
that's the best way to describe Jacoby.
I'm just going to put it that Jacoby Brissett, he should be what Chase Daniel is. He should not be starting a game. He if you need to bring him in on an emergency basis, he's okay. He's not going to hold up over a season. He's just not an NFL starting quarterback. He's the 37th, 38th best quarterback in the league. You got 32 teams. If you're relying on Jacoby Brissett to win you anything more than an emergency game or two, your team's not going to win.
I tell you what, a lot of these guys that are backups, third strings, they don't get noticed, right? They never even get an opportunity to get noticed. What a great start for Jacoby Brissett, though, in New England. How he had an opportunity just to get noticed, right?
Yeah, he got lucky. Garoppolo was supposed to be the guy the year that Brady had Deflategate, and Garoppolo got injured. Jacoby Brissett stepped in and had three very good games.
Yeah.
And New England won 2 of the 3, and then
but that was also a really good team.
You're absolutely right. It was a very good team that he had around him. And he got paid a lot of money to do what he's doing because he got lucky and got in the right situation with a good team around him, and They didn't have to expose the flaws that he has in his game. He's, you know, he doesn't do anything badly, but he doesn't do anything well. He's
There's a lot of him out there though,
yeah.
right?
Well,
Guys
no,
that
you know
well,
what?
the guys that don't get the opportunity that he got. And yes, he did play well, but that was a very good team that he got to have his opportunity with. A lot of guys get an opportunity with a crappy team, and then you really don't know how good they could be.
Yeah, well, like you know, Scott Mitchell for the Miami Dolphins. He stepped in 1 year when the starter got hurt. Played like 6 great games. Ended up going to Detroit and ended up being a complete bust. You know.
Oh, okay, let's go to the
So
Dallas Cowboys real quick. What about Rush?
yeah,
Cooper Rush.
Cooper Rush had some nice games last year. The thing is, Dallas didn't ask him to do anything. You know, they didn't have to. They had a decent offensive line. They had Tony Pollard. You know, Zeke's kind of past his prime. I'm kind of interested to see what happens with him. But, you know, they had.
Are you a big Prescott fan? I don't know. I think Cooper Rush could fill that role for what they're asking him to do. I don't know. I'm not. I think Prescott's not worth the money. Is what I think.
I believe Prescott had a really bad year last year.
Really bad year.
He wasn't good last year.
He was throwing to nobody.
Well, yeah,
overthrowing, underthrowing.
Yeah.
Now
Prescott had some. Oh, I mean,
I know we're a little all over the place, but I'm trying to cover as much as we can in the few minutes we got left.
I mean,
you know?
yeah, that you know, Dallas did lose Dalton Schultz this year going in free agency.
Yeah, where's he going to end up?
He's in Houston.
He's in Houston.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like I said, one of the nice pickups that the Texans have made this offseason.
I got to ask him just your thoughts on this. So, yes, they're all NFL teams, but when you've got talent, you think he's going to get more playing time in a place like Houston than he would in other places, and maybe that's why he would go to a team that is not very good and doesn't have a solid quarterback?
Oh, Schultz has started for.
I know what I'm saying is I know he's starting, but is there some other places where he wouldn't get as much playing time? He's very good, but if he goes to, let's say, Philadelphia, is he going to get as much playing time as?
Well, they have Goddard in Philly, so you know, I mean, Schultz is basically. I'd say Schultz and Goddard are pretty comparable. Goddard's a better blocker. They're both about the same at wide receiver. Schultz probably a little more nimble, a little more athletic ability than Goddard. We got the Arizona Cardinals on the clock right now. If this pick isn't Will Anderson, I know they're not. I'd be absolutely floored.
So let's see
because they didn't trade it. So, I mean, that team the best defensive player in this draft is Will Anderson.
All right, so pick is in, and they're gonna look at that crowd.
Yeah, crazy.
It's in Kansas City next year, is it? Where is the NFL? I think the NFL draft's in Kansas City next year.
I thought it was this year.
Oh, is it this year?
Yeah.
It's Kansas City? Oh, it is Kansas City.
Yeah.
What's next? I was thinking, what's next year? I'm trying to.
Was it Tennessee maybe, or India might be?
We were talking. John and I were talking. We tried to get on Radio Row at the NFL draft next year. Wouldn't that be something?
Oh, that
if we
would
could
be
do
great.
That? Would you join us?
Oh, absolutely.
That's a hard sell, Russell.
Yeah.
We got a whole bus.
I'd be happily sick from work. Matter of fact, I might be feeling a little feverish starting right now for 365 days from today.
Yeah, right. We'll have to put in for vacation early.
Yes.
Right. That's why we were wondering where it was next year, and I think that it's very possible with 590 that we might be able to work some press passes out. Here it is.
Well, they have the Texans up for some reason.
Did
Houston make a trade to number 3?
Well, let's see. It has to be.
Houston did make a trade for the number 3, and they did get Will Anderson. Well.
Wow, who'd they trade with?
Well,
I mean, I wonder what they gave up for that.
Yeah, I'm sure it was the number 12, a first-round pick next year would be my guess. I have no idea. I'm just
we need to find out what they gave up to move up.
I'm guessing it's the 12, a first-round pick next year would be.
I mean, Texans where were they? Did they had two?
They had number 12. Yeah,
they had number 12, right?
As well.
So they moved up and traded with the Cardinals.
Yes.
Wow. I'm really curious what they gave up. Wow, they have second and third pick. They're going after it.
Like I said, I believe that they would take Will. I thought that was the best player for them at number 2, and they ended up getting him at number 3.
So now they got a quarterback. And Will Anderson. That's a good start for the Texans, right?
Great start for the Texans.
And I'll tell you what, I don't think they were as bad as their record last year.
Like I said, they were very well coached. They made some incredible improvements in the offseason,
That's
upgraded
exciting for the
dramatically.
Texans. If you're a Texans fan, you have to be excited about
That
this so far.
the,
I
divi-
am curious what they gave up though.
the division is winnable. You know, it's not like there's not. I mean, Jacksonville was
Yeah.
pretty good last year, but that's the
They're
first.
okay.
You
But
know,
hey, I will say that Trevor Lawrence played much better. I mean, that hot mess of the first year, right? That was coaching. I think that was coaching his first year.
oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So
You know,
he's past that. Last
and
year was his rookie year,
and
as far as I'm concerned.
Jacksonville also has Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
You know, they acquired him from Atlanta. He's good. He gives them an
Didn't
elite
he get
number one.
he got a suspension.
He got
He got a suspension
yeah
for
he
gambling.
bet $50 on an NFL game while he was injured and took a year.
$50 took a year
I
off.
believe it was 50,
Yeah.
and they gave him the whole season off.
I mean, the amount is irrelevant up to a point.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about somebody who makes millions and millions of dollars a year and he's doing it for complete entertainment, sitting, you know, I don't get it. I guess I'll never get that. I don't agree with, like I said earlier, you shouldn't be able to bet it. But obviously he's not, there's no edge at a $50 bet, right? There's no angle. There's no edge. He didn't hide it. You know, he didn't try to circumvent any systems. It was
By the way,
clearly-
Arizona
yeah, what
got
they give up.
they got the. This is what I do know. I'm just looking already. They got the number 12 pick,
Okay.
and they also got Houston's second round pick.
This
I'm
year?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm assuming they're going to get they had to have given up a 1 next year as well. It just doesn't seem like enough to give up to.
Okay, if with that and they had to give up a 1 next year, still worth it. I think so.
Oh, to get this type
Yeah,
of player,
these-
yes. I'm going to guess there's some other compensation involved, like a later pick today, or excuse me, like a 4th or 5th, and then like they get a 1 next year would be my guess. But I am interested to see exactly what the trade was when it's completely announced.
So one of these things I want to talk to, I brought up the list of Super Bowl odds, right? Obviously, we haven't talked much about gambling today, but Super Bowl odds, they're going to change with this draft.
Oh, absolutely.
They're going to absolutely change. And not that the Texans are going to win the Super Bowl this year, but it's a good start to what they already have. Let's see what they are. I'm just curious. Let's see. They're way down here. They are. Is that 20,000? Oh, shit.
Yeah, it was
What did
20.
I do?
Yeah, it was plus 20.
Plus 20,000. Yeah. So here, plus 20,000. 200 to 1. No, 2,000 to 1.
They were
Right?
plus
Oh,
20,000.
200 to 1.
Here's
I
what
can't
was
see it.
it?
I don't have my glasses.
They gave up a 4th round pick, and yes, Arizona's getting a 1st and a 3rd next year.
A 1st and a 3rd next year.
Yes, so I
Wow.
wasn't too far off with my speculation.
No, you were right on. That's why you're here, buddy. Look at this. I love watching.
Now Indianapolis, their pick is in.
Okay.
I believe they should take Anthony Richardson. To me, they absolutely need a quarterback. It's going to be Richardson or Levis. It's not going to be anybody else. I bet money that it's Richardson, so I'm really hoping it's Richardson because I got plus 3 to 1 odds that it would be Richardson would be drafted before Levis. But we'll find out here shortly. But if the Colts drafted Levis, they're going to live to regret that selection.
All right. One of the prop bets that I was thinking that I kind of like and not real good. I don't really like setting my money up for waiting a whole year, but I'm looking at the Dolphins at 25 to 1 to win the Super Bowl. Does that interest you at all? Any for a minor kind of sweat? What do you think about the Dolphins?
I don't know if Tua's already talking about retiring. He suffered 2 concussions.
Yeah,
already.
I don't think he should be allowed to play personally. But.
And they don't have anything behind him yet. They have 2 great wide receivers. They actually did not have a very good free agency.
Who's their
period.
backup?
It
was Brissett last year.
Yeah, they did get somebody new.
They used Brissett. Who else did they use?
They got White, the backup from the Jets last year. Had a couple of good games.
Yeah, he had a couple good games.
So
I don't know. Who do you like on this list? 49ers are 9 to 1. Eagles are 9. I kind of like the Eagles at 9 to 1, and I usually look for at least 10 to 1. But 9 to 1 on the Eagles?
I believe right now the Bengals are the best team in the NFL.
I agree with you, and you can get 9 to 1 on them too. But I'm going to bet a couple different teams. Bengals at 9 to 1, and Oh, here where the pick is in. Let's see what the Colts
Well, let's
selection
see
is.
if they did
See if
something stupid and took Will Levis.
Let's see what we got here. All right,
So-
let's here. They're a little ahead.
Yeah. That makes me very happy. They took Anthony Richardson. That's a lot of money I'm going to be able to pick up here because I got
Oh, well, let's see what you
I
got.
got 3-1 on Anthony Richardson being taken.
Taken in what round? First round?
Being taken before Will Levis.
Oh yeah, you talked about that earlier.
I did talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can take a
Who
picture.
will be drafted earlier? Anthony Richardson versus Will
bet
Levis
that- I
plus
bet-
285.
I
You
bet that
crushed
2
it.
weeks ago.
You crushed it.
Yeah, we can put a picture of that up. I bet it 2 weeks ago. I've been
Can we
a
take
big
a picture
believer
of that
in,
and put that up?
I've been a big believer that this guy should be going. I believe the Colts. This is a great pick for the Colts. They got a good offensive line. They got Jonathan Taylor.
And you still think he's not going to start? You think Minshew?
I believe Minshew will start. I believe they're going to let they'll let Richardson learn behind Minshew. Minshew can win them a few games. I don't think they're playing necessarily to win this year. This is a long-term move for the Indianapolis Colts. This will be one that I believe will benefit them tremendously in the long term.
Okay.
I believe he's considerably better than C.J. Stroud. I will tell you, I wasn't a big C.J. Stroud fan. He had the best offensive line basically in college football. He had the two best wide receivers in college football in Jigba and Marvin Harrison Jr. It's not. I can't even throw a football, and they could have made me look good. This is a great get for Indy, and now Seattle will be on the clock. And so I'm speculating here that Javon Carter goes to Seattle. I believe he's, like I said, he fills so many needs that the Seahawks have, and if he wasn't, honestly, if he didn't have all the off-field issues he has, I could have made a case for him and Anderson as being completely interchangeable.
All right, we got to move a little bit forward. We got 15 minutes left. The Raiders.
I believe the Raiders will take Levis, and it's a completely Raiders type move, and I will laugh at the Raiders draft for the rest of the day.
Do we have any draft bets left today?
Oh yeah, I have that the Detroit Lions take a defensive lineman at number 6.
Okay, and we're on at Seattle at number 5.
And we're on
right
Seattle
now.
at number 5.
So what kind of odds do you get on any defensive lineman?
Yeah, any
and what kind of odds
defensive
did you get on
lineman, plus 100.
Okay, so
Because
even money.
I believe, yeah, even money.
Even money.
I believe that they're taking. If Carter gets taken now, I believe they're going to take Wilson, the defensive end from Texas Tech. If Carter's available, I believe they're going to take Carter. If Seattle does something different and takes a different player.
All right, let's try to roll through these
So-
while we're waiting on the next pick. Atlanta Falcons, we covered them a little bit.
At number 8, I did bet Atlanta to take a running back with their first pick. I believe they're going to take
Is that even
Bijan
money
Robinson.
also?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I believe they're going to take Robinson, but I believe Atlanta's going to trade back.
Oh, good. Yeah, we're posted your ticket.
So yeah,
Yeah,
I believe
like it.
I believe,
That is Damien's ticket that just won.
Yeah,
Little,
I-
2.75 to 1.
yeah.
Thank you
said
very much.
Yeah, that
Right,
was,
good
I
start to
did
the
that,
night.
I did that 2 weeks ago. All these props I did 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
So like with Atlanta, I bet their first pick would be Bijan Robinson.
Oh.
So, or I bet that they would take a running back with
Okay,
their first
well, that's
pick.
okay.
So it'll be Bijan Robinson. I believe they're going to trade back. Is my belief,
Okay.
and use that pick on Robinson.
All right, Bears.
The Bears could go in a number of different directions at number 9. They've had a very nice offseason. They've picked up a lot of talent. I believe if they stay at 9, I believe they're taking the best offensive lineman of it. I believe they take Skoronski from Northwestern if they stay at number 9. So they got a lot of holes to fill, and they started filling some of them, but they could definitely use a defensive lineman.
All right, Eagles.
The Eagles, they've got an embarrassment of riches here. That they're the best team. They got one of the best rosters. They did lose some people on the defensive line, I don't know there's a defensive lineman at that point left that they would be willing to take that particularly early. I couldn't pull one out of my mind. They lost, like I said, they lost Samalo to Pittsburgh. Their stud offensive guard. They lost their offensive tackle Dillard. I believe they may go offensive line as well. They could use a running back, but if I'm the Eagles, I'd probably go. I'd
Right.
probably go
What about their
O-line.
secondary?
Well, that could be also as well. I mean, they did pick up the Eagles did. They picked up a safety from Pittsburgh, Edmonds. They could use a cornerback. I wouldn't be stunned if they took like a Witherspoon. Oh, by the way, as far as I also did bet where the Detroit Lions cut off. I bet that Witherspoon, the cornerback from Illinois, would be picked after spot 6.
Okay. And
So-
what kind of price?
Let's
Let's see.
me see. I got. Let me look at it here. I bet 2 to 1. I was getting plus 200. So
All right, plus 200
I did bet that.
on draft position Devon Witherspoon over 6.5.
Now I will
right?
tell you, I personally am hoping that Detroit does not take that
Well,
Seattle
you only
doesn't
got
take
one
Carter.
more and you win, right?
2 more.
2 more.
I'm
sorry,
hoping
my
Seattle
bad.
doesn't take Jalen Carter because I actually did bet that Detroit would take Jalen Carter,
And you got a good price on that.
and I got a great price on
Plus
that.
7.5 to 1
Yes,
that
so
Detroit will take
Jalen Carter
Jalen
would.
Carter.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that Seattle maybe spooked a little bit by the off-field stuff because Carter was like minus 300 to go to Seattle. I fully expect him to go to Seattle on this pick.
So the Colts are back to 12. Well, we got the Tennessee Titans. after the
Titans at
Eagles.
11.
Yeah.
They need everything.
Yeah.
They're
gonna take a quarterback.
I see that's the thing. I think if Levis is there, they take him. But if I'm Tennessee, I think the best thing they can do is move back in the draft and take Hendon Hooker. Take him somewhere in the mid-20s. You get the first round, the extra year. I believe Hooker's considerably better than Will Levis. He's a Tennessee guy. Played at the University of Tennessee. He's coming off of the torn ACL, but his production was very good. And I'd rather have Hendon. Now, he's a little old. He's 25, so he's a little older than your typical rookie. You can sit him behind Tannehill as he's recovering from the injury and for the season, and help the team. Tennessee honestly should just punt on this year. They should trade Henry, let Tannehill play. Just kind of suck next year, and maybe. And if not, you can maybe try to get the number 1 pick of Caleb Williams, who I believe will be the number 1 pick next year out of USC at quarterback, if you don't want Hooker. But I wouldn't try to win this year if I was Tennessee.
So Houston traded up to get Will Anderson, number 3, with Arizona. So Arizona's going to be sitting at 12.
Yeah, like I said, Arizona needs a lot of help. I got told, like I said they would trade the pick back when, and they did. They should have. They need everything. That's a team. It's a complete. Arizona and Tennessee are probably in the 2 worst shape of anybody in the NFL right now.
Big move for the Jets, getting Aaron Rodgers, and they gave up a lot, but
Yeah,
here they are at 13.
Actually, they have 15.
They got 15?
Green Bay has 13.
Green Bay has
in the
13,
draft. Green Bay could go in a number of different directions.
Do they need a quarterback?
That was the one team I was looking. They didn't add a single significant piece in the offseason.
But
I
think
believe
they should have a secondary plan for quarterback.
I think Green Bay could go offensive tackle. I think if they're some like our previous guest was talking about, they're potentially looking. Witherspoon did go to Seattle at number 5. I could make a lot of money here if
right.
Javon Carter
Let's
goes
explain
to.
how. That's okay.
I lost the Witherspoon bet.
Wait, you lost the Witherspoon bet.
Yeah, I bet he would not go in the first 6 picks, so I
okay.
lost that one.
Okay.
But if Javon Carter goes here, I make a lot of money. We'll post that up if he goes here. This is it.
Okay. Oh, here we go.
So this is
okay.
This
So
is
you've got $50 at 7.5 to 1. $50 gets you back 425 profit of 375 if let's see
If
the
Detroit takes
Lions
Javon
takes
Carter,
Jalen Carter.
Javon, yeah.
Is it Jalen
This
or Javon?
Javon. This was a loser. I had Witherspoon.
Says-
Witherspoon
does
goes
that
number
say
5 to
Jalen?
Seattle. It's Jalen. Yeah, Jalen.
Jalen Carter?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, and then what else we got?
And then this also, because I bet Detroit would take a defensive lineman with their first pick.
So this is both.
So this is both of those
So
two
you're getting
picks.
2 to 1 on that
So
pick.
yeah.
So this
So
is
that-
this is a 500 plus pick here for
Yeah,
Detroit.
if this is Javon Carter, I make a lot of money. If it's the edge Wilson, I make a little bit of money.
Yeah, make a
So-
little bit, right?
So, yeah.
So what am I looking at here? Devon Witherspoon.
that was a losing
Yeah, it's
selection.
a loser.
I
'cause
had
yeah,
I had Witherspoon going after
Okay,
pick 6.
Okay, you only have
and he
one
went-
losing ticket so far.
And
That's
he went pick 5 to Seattle. That's a good pick for the Seahawks. I didn't expect them to take the cornerback. They have a really good corner on the other side. That'll give Seattle 2 potentially good shutdown corners to start their season with there.
All right.
Number 15 is the Jets. If the Jets don't take an offensive lineman, I'll be shocked. That should
Gotta
be
protect Aaron Rodgers.
the Jets picking an offensive lineman should be the biggest mortal lock of anything in this NFL draft.
Do we have that? Do we have a bet on it?
I did not bet that. No, that was
All right, real
minus.
quick,
It was
what do we
minus
got
300.
left on your bets? We got about 7 minutes left. I want to go through with what kind of action you got left. There's a lot we're not going to get to cover. We're going to cover the draft tomorrow on 590 The Fan from 6 to 7 tomorrow night. Clemson John will be back with me in studio in Kirkwood, Missouri, at the 590 The Fan studios.
Okay, I bet that the Steelers would draft an offensive lineman with their first pick. It was plus
We're
1.
sitting at 17.
It was plus 1. They're at 17. I believe the Steelers will do everything they can to move up. I believe they're going to want either Paris Johnson or Broderick Jones.
I think they have to trade up because there's
Yes, to get one of those two. Yes, there's a chance that maybe Darnell Wright could fall to them from Tennessee, but but the Steelers know that Green Bay is going to take an offensive lineman at 15, and they're not. They know the Jets are going to. I believe they want to jump ahead of the Jets. They got that extra second round pick from the Bears in the Chase Claypool trade. Like I said, I bet these a couple of weeks ago. I'm a diehard Steeler fan. Pickett suffered 2 concussions last year. They upgraded the guard position dramatically on the offensive line, and you've got to get a left tackle to protect Pickett. You've just got to, and I believe that's where the Steelers are going. I believe the Steelers are going to go there and take an offensive lineman. I know a lot of people are speculating cornerback, but that's where I went.
We got about 5 minutes left. It's a whole evening of draft to come. Very exciting. Is there any points that we haven't got to that you want to make sure we get in before we say goodnight?
I think you're going to see 2 tight ends go in the first round, potentially 3. That's a deep position in this draft. I'd be stunned if Dallas doesn't take a tight end, for example.
First round.
Oh, and we have a trade, by the way.
Okay.
Arizona has gone from 12 to 6,
Oh, wow.
and this is going to really screw up my trade.
Yeah, that's gonna-
my gambling here. That kind of breaks my heart. But yeah, Arizona's gone from 12 to 6. I don't know why
So
they would have done
now
that.
your Lions are
Yeah,
are they gonna be able to get Jalen Carter at
no,
12?
that's going to be a loss. That's going
11?
to be a loss bet now because the 2
You
guys.
never know, though.
No, there's no way.
All I'm gonna say is you never know.
Well, now, oh, wait a minute. I don't. Let me see here. Well, I saw that it updated to Arizona. Now I see it's not updated to Arizona. I don't.
Well, we're gonna
I don't
find
know
out
where-
here in a
yeah,
second.
we'll find out shortly what's going on.
All right. Meanwhile, while you're looking at that, I do want to remind everybody that next Saturday, not this Saturday, next Saturday is the Kentucky Derby, and we will be covering that next Thursday night. I also will be on High Noon on 590 The Fan at 1:30 Central Time. Nate Lucas and Bob Ramsey are having me come on their show on 590 The Fan. That's next Thursday afternoon from 1:30 to 2 o'clock Central Time to talk about Kentucky Derby. Thursday evening, we'll be live here at DraftKings at Casino Queen. And I will be taking some time to go over the Oaks, which is on Friday. That's the female version of the Kentucky Derby. I will be giving out my picks on Thursday, and I'm hoping next Thursday evening, Nick Hines from FanDuel TV, TVG, will be joining us and giving out his picks for the Derby weekend also. Please check out our Twitter page. I have put up a link for twinspires.com, also on our Facebook page. If you do not have a betting account for horse racing, you can watch and wager on twinspires.com. Just press on that link. Easy to sign up. Make your first deposit and your first wager of $10 or more will get you your $10 free bets back, win or lose, whether you. And then I'm going to be posting my bets, and I will send a link if you want to join in on my bets. You can buy a share of the tickets that I post. Is the pick in? How we doing? Let's see.
The trade it is the trade's to Arizona. It
So
says
it
the
did
pick is
happen.
in. Yeah, that
It
really
did
kind
happen.
of ruins my
All
whole
right.
night right there.
All right.
I
The
was,
whole night?
yeah. Well, I mean,
It's not letting me
I
go to the.
I was really excited when Carter got by number 5. I believe you'll see Arizona take Javon Carter here at 6.
All right.
Um,
Let's see where we're going.
he's there. He's the best player on the
If they
board
don't
right
pick
now.
him, you have a shot.
No,
No.
because
He's not getting to 11.
I'm assuming
Why would Green
number
Bay
12.
give up that pick? Why?
No, it was Arizona. It
I
was
mean, why
number
would
12.
Detroit give up that pick?
I don't know. Maybe they just. My guess is they didn't want to deal with the headache of potentially Carter.
All right,
Well, they're. We see Arizona's congratulating each other, but I don't.
This move up is costing them a second-round pick and a third-round pick. It's costing Detroit a lot.
Which cost Arizona a lot.
It cost Arizona a lot.
They gave up a second and a third and a fifth. It sounds like. So
Wow.
to move down 6 spots, I guess is
that's a lot to give up.
That's a lot, but you know, maybe they wanted Javon Carter or Jalen Carter at number 3, and they could see him at 6, and they got that first rounder next year for it.
All
Maybe
right.
they're happy with that.
All right,
So
well, here we go.
I'd be stunned if this isn't Carter.
The 6th pick to the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's Paris Johnson, the offensive
With the
lineman.
6th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Paris Johnson Jr.
Wow.
See, this is where
Ohio
the
State tackle.
Yeah, this is where, like I said, the offensive lineman. The offensive lineman you may see a run on the offensive line here, with that particular.
Does that give you any hope?
Pick. No,
Who's going to take Jalen?
Might see the Raiders take him here at 7. The Raiders need a quarterback, but
Yeah, the Raiders need a quarterback. What are they going to do?
If a guy that if the guy who's probably the second or third best player in the draft slips to you at 7.
I don't see New Orleans anywhere in this. I mean, they're deep. They're late.
Yeah.
Why are they so late? What did they do?
Well, they got their first round pick. They traded their first round pick originally, and then they got one back in the Peyton trade to Denver when they got for a head coach.
Is that where Carr went?
Yes.
He went there.
Derek Carr went to New Orleans.
I think that's actually a good fit for him.
Well, I mean, he's got some weapons there with Olave, and assuming Michael Thomas ever comes back healthy.
Russell Wilson.
I think I can work out pretty good for having Gary Payton. Denver got probably the 2 best offensive linemen in free agency, and they're getting back Garrett Bowles, who's their tackle. They have Judy and outside and Sutton. If they get Javonte Williams back, Denver could be surprisingly good. They have the best defense in that division already.
All right, listen, this has been so much fun. It goes so fast. We could do this all night long, but our time is up here at DraftKings at Casino Queen. Enjoy the rest of the draft. I want to thank from the Bennington Martins and the ABA, Xavier Boyd and John Riles for joining us, man. What two very, very nice and talented young men. Greg Damon from KMOX for joining us, giving a little update on Aaron Rodgers. Damian Byro, thank you for hanging out with me, and let's definitely have you back soon.
Oh, I enjoyed it. I can't help much as far as the Kentucky Derby goes, but if you want to talk about recapping the NFL draft, I'd be happy to be on. Do that again with you.
Yeah, we'll have you back soon. All right. Don't forget 6 to 7 tomorrow night. 590 The Fan. Clemson John is back with me tomorrow in studio. Until next week. Thanks for watching.